At this point, you've done the work to start getting interviews on your calendar. It's time to focus on preparing for those interviews so that you can make lasting, positive impressions. Career I.O.'s approach to interviewing focuses on your mindset, preparation, interview tactics, and follow-up. We'll start with a simple but important tip. When you're heading to an interview, you want to shift your thinking away from daydreams about getting a quick offer to thinking about how you can keep the conversation going and get asked back. This approach works for all stages of the interviewing process, from the initial phone screen all the way to the final interview. Focus on what you need to do in the moment to get the next interview. This will keep you from getting ahead of yourself in the process, like asking questions about salary or vacation time before the time is right. When you are in impatient for an offer mode, the stakes feel too high. How do we get to the next round? We focus on these 4 components. Interviewing strategy. It all starts with your strategy, beginning with the most important element of all, your mindset. Shifting your mindset from candidate to consultant changes everything you do during the interview. Next, we move to meeting preparation. This includes your preparation for key questions, your research on the company and the people you will be interviewing with, and the honing of your talking points. The third step focuses on tactics for the interview itself, like how we answer and handle questions, how we discover obstacles and next steps, and how we conduct ourselves. Following the interview and armed with the insights we gathered, we move to the follow-up stage. This is where we dig into any potential obstacles the hiring manager may have, reflect on our strengths, and develop a thoughtful and effective follow-up strategy. Our starting point is interview strategy. What do we mean when we say to take a strategic approach? Well, it starts with taking a step back and thinking in terms of how you can help the employer, rather than spouting memorized answers on topics that may not be relevant to the issues facing the employer. It means not waiting until the end of the interview to demonstrate your company knowledge. It also means not writing a generic thank you note that isn't thoughtful and doesn't reflect the meeting's content. What you want to do instead is think and act like a consultant. So what does a consultant typically do? Before a meeting with a potential client, they do their best to research the client's needs. Then in the meeting, they'll ask probing questions to achieve a deeper understanding of the client's needs. The better they understand the client's needs, the better positioned they are to propose solutions. They'll share examples of past successes that are relevant to the client's perceived needs, and they'll follow up with a thoughtful proposal. Thinking like a consultant changes your whole strategy in the interview. Let's look at the differences between candidate and consultant mode. As a candidate, you walk in and are in receive mode. Maybe you've done research and have questions, but you are really letting the interviewer run the show. They ask a question, you answer it, and then wait for the next question. Your body language is even in receive mode. Maybe you're sitting back or your hands are folded in your lap and your head is lowered. This is a default behavior many of us fall into. By contrast, when you are in a consultant's mindset, you are in engage mode. You use questions to start conversations. You use active body language, leaning forward, head high, eye contact, smiling and open, listening and repeating back what you heard. Your objective is to uncover their pain points, their issues. What do they want or need to happen? Think about the ways you might be able to plug into the company and be impactful out of the gate. Yes, the interviewer will come in with their standard questions, but you can use those questions as a jumping-off point to engage more in a conversation. When you establish a conversational tone to an interview, you naturally relax, allowing your abilities and skills to shine through without you having to be so conscious of it. Another way to think about this is that your mindset is key. It's not about, oh, I hope they offer me the job, or, oh, I hope I'm making a good impression. Instead, you want to envision that you already have the job and that you are on the same side of the table as them. You're just trying to help them solve their challenges. Adopting the consultant's mindset will allow you to influence the meeting's direction. This is the key to creating a great interview conversation that's on a different level. From a strategy perspective, an interviewer is really only asking 3 questions. No matter what you think they're asking, any question they ask falls into one of these 3 buckets. The first is, how can you help me? That's their number 1 question they're looking for an answer to. Number 2 is, why do you want to work here? Meaning, are you going to stick around, or are you going to leave in 6 months? Do you really want this? And number 3 is, will you fit in? When you're prepping for an interview, you may find it helpful to view the practice questions through this prism. To recap, adopting the right interviewing strategy means focusing on what the employer wants or needs rather than impressing them, shifting your mindset from candidate to consultant, understanding the 3 questions an interviewer is looking to have answered. How can you help me? Why do you want to work here? And will you fit in?